Alright guys, welcome back to another price action trading lesson. We're looking at the S&P 500 E-mini futures chart. The time frame is 2000 tick, and we're looking at a nice downtrend here that had break and new low. So we had new low, but as you can see, we pushed back, rejected off of EMA, and now we're pushing low again. So at this point, I'm kind of asking myself, maybe there's a potential like wider downtrend. Start from this swing. Maybe something like that. You can see it respected it pretty well right there. Something like that maybe. So I'm going to delete this old channel even though it was pretty confirmed and looked really good. And I'm going to start watching this one and we'll see what happens. We had a nice bear rejection bar right off of the EMA here. But if you look, if you start from this low, it's only a first entry short. So I have to skip this even though it's a nice bar. Let's see if we can get a second entry short here. We got a decent bar. The body's kind of far from EMA. The only thing touching the EMA is the wick. But if we get a trigger below this bar, I'll probably put a limit. The ATR is pretty high today. So my limit's going to go way back here. If it'll do what I need it to. There we go. But we don't have a trigger below this bar. So it's not a second entry short yet. So we'll see what happens. If we get a trigger, though, I'll put my limit here at this black line and risk 8 ticks. We always put our stop loss 1 tick behind the signal bar we're entering on. And you can only enter after it triggers below or above a bull bar. It didn't trigger, but it's still first entry short, so maybe we can get a nicer pullback to the EMA and get a second entry here. Second entry short triggered. As you can see, it broke 1 tick below this bull bar right here. So we have new low, first entry short, pull back as soon as it broke above this little doji right here. And then second entry short once it broke below this bull bar. So now that we have second entry short and no way to enter because all these bars are really ugly and you can see it's kind of stacked. We can't go short below a bull bar like this. Maybe we can get a lower high, which would be technically a third entry short. As long as it breaks above this bar here. We want it to trap the bulls, if that makes sense. So we'll see what happens. It looks like it's going to create a new push phase, which is good for this wider downtrend that I've drawn. You can see it respected it pretty well. So finding these key entry points early like this is the best way to guarantee you're going to possibly find something, you know. The earlier you can have these channels drawn, and most importantly confirmed. I mean, I can't just draw any channel, you know, but you always connect your first swing like up here in the top left. You start your channel from there, and then you connect the swings as you go down. And as you can see on the top, it fits pretty well, but on the bottom we only have like 1 or 2 confirmed touches here, and then a lot of empty room. So the pullbacks in this channel are pretty strong. As you can see, they pull all the way back and most of the time fail to push all the way down to this bottom trend line. So it is a bearish downtrend, but it's not the strongest one. You know, it's not that steep. It can even be like something, probably not like that, but you know, something a little flatter. This one seems pretty steep, but I only have it drawn because of the top trend line here is being respected so well. And then you just copy that and put it at the bottom, and the bottom only happens to have, you know, 2 touches. So I like the channel. I think it's confirmed just because of all the touches we have on this top channel. But we'll see what happens here. If we get a strong push phase, I'll have a lot more confidence in the channel and be willing to take something off the EMA or whatever forms. I'm going to adjust to this channel. It fits a lot better, as you can see. So we start our first swing like halfway down this main spike. And we call this a spike in a channel. So we have the spike, and then it breaks into a little bit slower channel. So I drew here, confirmation here and here, and then you copy, put that at the bottom, confirmation here and here. And as you can see, it just fits a lot better. Not as much empty room. You can see the, you know, push phase, correction phase, push phase, correction phase, and then we're hoping for a push phase and a setup to confirm that push phase. We did get this little second entry short right here. but I didn't like how it was above EMA. And by the time it formed, you can see we have some sort of like support here. I mean, it may even be like a little congestion, you know? So you're going short, like kind of directly into these lows. It did trigger. Luckily, I skipped, so it would have stopped me out. So it's important to be patient, you know, and understand these rules. And it helps too that I've been watching the market for long enough to kind of get a feeling for what it's going to do. Trading is one of those things that just takes time. You have to kind of grow an understanding with one specific market. You know, a lot of traders make the mistake of trading 10 different symbols, and every chart has a different way of kind of moving, you know? Like the S&P 500 is extremely efficient. There's a lot of like high class, very professional traders in this market that have enough capital to move it. So, like a lot of the time, like if I enter a trade, after my scalp is made, I'll move my stop loss to break even, allowing my runner to continue going, but most of the time that runner will get hit at break even just because this chart is so efficient. So once you understand those kinds of things, you know, like you grow to be a very conservative trader, and I think that's very important with any strategy really, you know, like you can't just hop on the train whenever a trade forms. Like you have to kind of like almost second guess yourself naturally, because that second guessing allows you to really read the market as it is, read it without a bias. Like if I was looking to go short here, I would have entered that and lost money. But instead, I was looking at the overall price action and realizing like, okay, we're looking a little congested. Why didn't it create a push face here or here? You know, why is this one forming? Why are we back at EMA? Like all these questions just come to you naturally if you look at the market without a biased opinion that you've already created in your head. So it's important to recognize that. All right, we broke out of the channel here. I'm going to draw me like a little short-term uptrend, something like this. And it looks like we have overshoot potentially. I mean, I could widen it a little bit, but I'm going to keep overshoot because after overshoot like this, we expect it to reverse. So we should break back through here, break this channel, and then we'll see what happens at EMA. Before I consider going short to test new low of this downtrend, I want to see this channel get a new high. After new high played out, that lets me know that all the bull pressure played out. So there's no reason for the market to go higher, and that's when I look for a short where there's a higher chance for the bears to pull out ahead. So we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going back to this with the break and new low. As you can see, we didn't really make a push phase in that other channel I had drawn. And when there's no push phase, it kind of negates like the downtrend entirely, especially once we had this one drawn first with the break and new low already. Like you can see that this kind of had like a new low and then it rejected off of these levels. And then this bullish spike right here is super strong. So I thought it was going to react as overshoot, but it just kept pushing. So we're going to draw a wider uptrend like this. And we're expecting a new market cycle now that this downtrend got new low. We expect correction or reversal. So it looks like it might be a reversal, but we'll see. We could draw a line here and down here, and maybe we have like some sort of small trading range or something like that. So with this strategy, you're always adjusting. You're not getting locked into one bias that you had coming into the market or whatever. You always got to adjust and be prepared to second guess yourself and stuff. So we'll see what happens from here on. Hopefully we get a nice bullish uptrend and a potential second entry long or something at the EMA. Alright guys, so I was hoping for a little second entry long. Originally I had the channel drawn like this, a little bit wider. And I was hoping for a second entry long right here at EMA to test new high of this trend. But after we broke below EMA and then continued to work lower. I tightened up this channel and realized that we already had break-in new high. Same thing here with this little short-term downtrend. I was hoping for a second entry short at EMA to test new low, but we just immediately created new low. And again, here with this little short-term uptrend, I was hoping for like a second entry long at the EMA, but we just bounced and pushed to new high. So overall, it kind of looks like there's no real strong direction to the market. And in times like this, you just have to be patient and draw these really tight channels and follow those and just wait for something a little bit bigger and better to form. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we finally got some movement. All of this took a super long time to form, and it was just super choppy. We had this failed second entry short right here to test new high of this, but I skipped that trade because we were below EMA and we had this doji right before. It can easily do this. I didn't have this trading range drawn when this formed, the second entry long, but that's a decent trade. I'll actually go ahead and mark it. But it's kind of one of those hindsight trades, you know. You don't really have this channel drawn. You don't get this bounce here. So just being patient. Now that we have this little downtrend, finally got some movement in the market. I'm hoping that we can get a break out of this channel and then like a second entry short at EMA to test new low. So far, nothing really tradable. Looking back, nothing really too good that I can see. You know, anything that's formed has formed before we have like a confirmed channel to confirm that trade. So still waiting. I'm not really inclined to take a trade today if I don't get one. I'm just being patient, taking my time. I want to find something that confirms the bias, forms a perfect pattern, and then has a good signal bar to confirm it, like always. So let's see what we get. So we had this little second entry short right here formed to test new low. It's a double bar entry, so you can't, I mean, I guess you could have entered on this bar, but if you would have entered on this bar, you would have gotten stopped out before it went down 8 ticks. And you see how far away the body is from the EMA, this little bar here. And then it had this big bear bar that captured that one. And I mean, it's a massive bar, right? The ATR is insane today. I tried to enter on this trade with my 8 tick limit. So I'm not gonna risk no 16 ticks just to, you know, I mean, I'm doubling my risk for the same amount of profit. So on days like this, the ATR is 3.25 right now. So average 3-point bar. So it didn't get filled on that one, unfortunately, but it's all good. Price action worked out just as we expected it to with new low for this downtrend. As long as I have, you know, I predicted that this was going to happen, and that just, it brings confidence into the game and stuff like that. I feel like that's important too, you know. The strategy really does work. And sometimes you don't get filled on trades, sometimes you do. And when you do, it feels good. But even if you don't, you know, like I was able to call that it was going to happen, and it feels good. So back to waiting. After new low, we expect correction or reversal. So let's see what the market wants to do here. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. We had this second entry long right here that formed, but the body's super far from EMA, and the body closed bearish as well. So I skipped that, and it's getting too late. I don't like to trade after 1:30. Just it can be too volatile, or if a trade takes too long, I don't want to get trapped in that trade through close. So overall, pretty good day. A couple decent trades. There's this one here. Little second entry short. You can see the best trades are the ones that have a visual 2 legs. And you can see perfect 2-leg pullback to EMA. I think I was away when this small bar formed, which is lucky because I would have taken that trade and gotten stopped out. And then this double bar entry, I came back and I tried to enter on that, but it didn't come back to fill me. So that one, and then there's the second entry long. That's good in hindsight. We didn't have this support drawn yet when that was forming, but this uptrend needs new high. Second entry long, multiple tests, push to new extreme. So that's a decent trade. I'll go ahead and mark that one green as well. And over here there wasn't really anything. You can see it's not very clean price action. Like, this channel was hard to find. Trying to find that right channel was tough. I think I drew like 3 different channels over here and it ended up being this one. So overall, pretty good day. Good price action. Lately it's been really, really good. Like, you can see, like, the channels have breaks and they get to new extremes. So if you can find a high probability setup like this one here to test that new extreme for the trend that broke, then, I mean, high probability setups, they're not too rare, and you have a high win rate if you find these and you're patient, and you got to follow the rules though, you know. So anyways, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck with your trading.